Hello, this is Bowblax here. Welcome to my first ever footage trailer analysis. Basically what this is going to be is that I'm going to watch the recent footage of Pikmin 3 from today's Nintendo Direct, which is May 17th, 2013. If it was like another year, like 2014, I'd be worried because Pikmin 3 wouldn't be out by then and probably be cancelled, and that would just make me sad. So of course it's 2013, but yeah, I'm just gonna go through the footage. I'm gonna pause every once in a while and put my comments on it, sometimes commenting without pausing it. And yeah, that's pretty much how it's gonna go. So let's get this trailer started, or footage, shall we?
In this game, instead of Olimar, who was the main character in the previous Pikmin titles, there are three new main characters. Their names are Alf, Brittany, and the captain, Charlie.
Okay, these names, this is gonna be a bit of a nitpick. It's not like a real issue, but these names I think are just so dumb. Like, Olimar and Louie, those names were really creative because they were like, they resembled Mario and Luigi. I think Olimar was, if you were to spell out the Japanese name of Mario, it would spell out the letters of Olimar. You just rearrange it into an actual name. Same with Louie, I'm pretty sure it's like that. I'm not too sure on that. But yeah, and they sound cool. They actually sound badass and stuff. These ones are just like Alf, Charlie, Brittany. Like, those names are just so generic. You want something unique. And I know the president didn't have a name, but I'd rather have like that guy be called the General than Charlie. I mean, come on, like, the president was kind of like mysterious because he didn't really know his name or whatever, and he just seemed like the boss. You couldn't like really personally get into him. It would like have a relationship or a connection with him. It was kind of like cool, but now they're just generic. It's just a nitpick. It doesn't really matter too much, but it's just my opinion. So
They are from planet Koppai.
So this is really cool. They are from a different planet, which I actually wasn't expecting. I was expecting them to be like future Hawkatations or something, but they are actually from another planet, which is actually really, really cool, and I like that idea.
Which is facing its doomsday due to a lack of food. They set out on their adventure in search of food that can be returned to Koppai.
So this is really cool because they have a totally different mission. They are not related to the Hawkatations really in whatsoever, except for like their size and their appearance and stuff, but they probably don't even know the Hawkatations. And they're just going to the planet and getting food and stuff for the planet, which is actually a really cool idea. It's kind of like separate from like Louie and Olimar and the Hawkatations, which actually makes me think, like, does this happen before Olimar goes to the planet, after, or like midway? Because like, who knows really, because like this is like a whole different planet's point of view on the Pikmin planet. Maybe this actually takes place at the same time as Pikmin 2 or Pikmin 1, and they may come across Olimar or something. It's not really mentioned in the first games that they like come across anyone like in the mail for Pikmin 2 or Olimar's journals in Pikmin 1, but you know, it could happen, and I'd really like to see Olimar and Louie like appear in this game or something. It'd probably happen in the future though, if anything, because it wasn't really on record in the previous games and it'd be kind of off balance, but that's just my opinion.
Due to an accident while traveling, they crash land and encounter mysterious creatures called Pikmin. With their help, the three travelers start exploring.
So right here, we basically get to see all the people like crash land on the planet, but this is kind of gonna actually be pretty cool because as you can see in the bottom left corner, you're only controlling Charlie at this point, and it showed the cutscene of Alf falling down. So maybe you get to play as, like, maybe there'll be different storylines or something, like you get to play Alf's point of view or Charlie's point of view, or it'll switch automatically, or you get to choose, kind of like in my best example right now is Sonic 06, when there's different perspectives with Sonic's episode, Shadow's episode, Silver's episode. I know it's a bad example because that game's pretty bad, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Just makes you think. Also, we can see that Charlie has a mohawk, which is kind of neat, I guess. But pause. Okay, right here, there's two things I want to talk about. Number one, that fruit thing he's getting down. And number two, the dialogue. This dialogue is really cool because we knew what they were saying in dialogue before. This kind of taking a page out of like Kid Icarus Uprising, where there's dialogue while you're playing the game, which is actually a really cool idea that I liked in that game. And this actually seems like the beginning of the game, because you only have like 3 reds and stuff. And that fruit will appear later in the trailer, and I want to talk about that specific type of fruit a bit later, so let's just continue with the video.
Their mission is to collect fruit that can be their new food resource while exploring the planet, with the goal of bringing the seeds back to their home. As the explorers found from their preliminary research, there were various kinds of fruit there, but it was much larger than expected. They decided to use the Pikmin's help to carry the fruit back to the spaceship. After extracting the seeds, fruit can be converted to juice and can act as a food for the player characters as they explore the planet. If they don't have enough food, they can't continue their exploration. They must use the limit time of each day to explore for fruit.
Okay, so this is actually a pretty neat idea. Instead of having the limited days of Pikmin 1 and the unlimited days of Pikmin 2, they have it limited, but it's different. You have to drink juice to live long enough. So it kind of has a food system. So if they run out of juice or food, like if you just dawdle around and don't like collect enough fruit, you'll die. So it's pretty it like punishes the noobs, but it like helps the pros. Like, you pretty much, to continue the game is to collect treasure. If you don't collect enough treasure, you'll just die, but it isn't like a limit. It's kind of like a little less stressful. I don't know how exactly it's gonna play, but it seems like a pretty cool idea.
Night on the planet is dangerous, so you can only explore from dawn to dusk.
Okay, right here you see the countdown. There is a circle around the onion, which I presume is the area you have to be in so you can blast off. And this is a great addition, because I always had one problem in Pikmin 1 and 2, is that I never knew how close I need to be to the base to actually get the countdown, because sometimes I overestimate like the time, and then I'm like rushing to the end, and I don't know if I'm close enough, and I might lose all my Pikmin. But here, there's a clear line to see what Pikmin die from sunset and don't. It isn't confirmed that this is it, but this is what I presume, and if it is, it's a really great addition. Okay, right here you get to see a bit of the onion. This is a bit weird. This is where it gets a bit weird. This is the same berry that we found at the beginning of the game, which means you have to collect another onion. This is weird. So this actually could take place before Olimar ever gets to the planet, because in Pikmin 1, the onion comes out of the ground, but then in Pikmin 2, it's already out of the ground. So maybe these captains originally found the onion, and then after a while it like decayed and went halfway through the ground, and then it saw its captain and it went back up when it saw Olimar. So yeah, that's a really cool theory I had about this. But another thing is not that just about the onion thing, but about like the color of the onion. It looks like it's like a container with red liquid in it. It doesn't look like a red onion. It looks like a red onion, but it lost its red, and it has like red juice in it. So I'm wondering if this is an onion at all, because it could just be a juice container, or you could have any number of Pikmin in it, and the juice in it represents like what color it is. Like it may be halfway with gray and halfway with red, which means there's like 50 reds in it and 50 rocks in it. But yeah, we'll see better footage of the onion later to support this theory. But for now, let's just continue with the footage.
During this time, it is important to use the different color Pikmin skills.
Okay, right here is something really cool in my opinion. This is a great shot of how useful the pink Pikmin will be. In the last footage, it showed a bit of the pink Pikmin, but it didn't really show how useful they were. They were just carrying items. But now you can actually see how useful they are. It seems like, you see that ledge over there? It seems like there could be a ledge on the other side, and that pair was on the ledge of the other side. So you had to throw a winged Pikmin over it so it could cross the gap without falling down, so it could get to that other ledge, if you know what I mean, so it wouldn't fall into the gap. Which is actually a really, really cool idea about pink Pikmin that I actually didn't think about when they got announced. So yeah. Anyways, let's just continue with the footage. Play.
Players can divide activities among the different characters and explore separate areas with different groups of Pikmin in order to progress with their exploration. Once you get the hang of it, you can complete tasks within a shorter time frame. Also, if you make mistakes.
Okay, right here is the return of the armored cannon beetle larvae. It might be a different type of larvae, but it is actually pretty close. And actually right here, also, you see like a lot of Pikmin got squished and died, but the rocks didn't die, which we've seen before, but the rocks actually got half planted into the ground. So maybe after they get rolled on, you have to pick them again, which would actually be an interesting concept. And maybe if they get rolled on like a couple amount of times, like 5, they'll actually die. I don't really know how rock Pikmin will work yet, but it seems really cool, and I'm glad that enemy is coming back.
While you play, you can replay the day or revert to an earlier section of the game.
Pause. Okay, right here is actually something pretty interesting. Here you get to see the story menu. There's a few interesting things about it. Right here, it says stuff like, where's Brittany, say on day 2. And it shows the number of fruit you collect, the number of juices you got, which I think the number of fruit you collect subtract when you convert them into juice. I think maybe like 10 fruit is a juice or something. It shows how many Pikmin died and stuff. And then it shows what captains you had on this day, which makes this feel really story driven, because maybe you'll lose a captain one day and then you get him back another, and this game just seems really, really story driven. Like maybe, and it says where's Brittany, so maybe the game is a little like less linear. Maybe it's like, I mean, a bit more linear. Maybe it's a bit more scripted, where certain things happen on certain days. And this might just be for the earlier days, but yeah, it feels like it'll be a lot more story driven than the previous games. So yeah.
The fun of starting over is that you can tap into what you learned from your last play session to more efficiently complete tasks. And this is another one of your assets in surviving the adventure. In Pikmin 3, the gamepad becomes a handy information terminal called the GamePad.
Okay, right here, the menu is pretty interesting. Number 1, there is that, it looks like there's a rock onion in the bottom right corner and a red onion in the middle, which does pretty much kind of confirm that rock Pikmin will be the second Pikmin you're picking up. Kind of like how purples were the second one in Pikmin 2. It does like one of the newer ones second, just to like show them off. Here's a few interesting icons. Number one, it shows like north, south, east, and west, which could be useful. But what's really interesting here is the 5 icons on the bottom. Of course, one of them's crossed off, so we don't know what it is. They're probably different menus, actually. I imagine the one on the far right would be camera, where you could go into that camera mode and take pictures from Miiverse. I imagine the middle one will show your Pikmin stats, like how many Pikmin are on the field, blah blah blah, like all the really gritty details that you usually get from the pause menus of Pikmin 1 and 2. Something I don't know what it is the second one from the left. I don't know at all what it is. It says new. It seems like something you get around the beginning-ish area of the game, because obviously you only have 2 colors so far. But yeah, I don't really know what it is. It may be just like calling the other captains or something. I'm really not too sure, because there was that screenshot in March where it showed the captains talking to each other, so I imagine it's that. That's my best guess right now. And then all the way on the left is probably the world map to see all the areas. And you know what would be really cool, because I saw this on the day menu when Iwata was talking about moving back in days, is that actually sort of world. So maybe there's a lot more locations, and it's like a whole round world, and the world map is kind of like the world map from Sonic Unleashed, where it's just like and you just turn the world, and there's like all these different places. So that'd actually be really cool. But anyways, let's continue.
As you can see, the area you have currently explored is shown on the map. You can see where the Pikmin and player characters are located.
Okay, right here is what I want to talk about. Here is presumably the yellow onion. And this is what I was talking about with multiple Pikmin and 1 onion. So, because so far, besides the map, we've only seen 1 onion, and it kind of been like the central thing, like there's only been an onion and a ship. So I really think that there's only going to be 1 onion in this game, because it shows a bit of red at the top, then it shows a bunch of yellow, and it's kind of like sloshy and stuff, so, or juicy inside, like it's a container with juice in it. I really think that you can put multiple Pikmin colors in 1 onion. It makes sense, actually. Like, if you, and like to store, and if you're wondering about reproducing, like with enemies, the Pikmin, like the Pikmin color who's carrying it the most, like say if you're carrying a Bowblax, 10 yellows were carrying it, and then a few reds, it would go to yellow, just like any other game, and then it'll just spit out from that onion. So yeah, that's actually really what I think, and it would make a lot of sense and be really convenient in like less space, especially with all the new colors, coming out. It'd be a lot of onions. It'd be like onions all over the map. Just be like, so many onions. So I think it actually makes a lot of sense for there to be 1 onion, which is actually a really cool idea, and I support it. So yeah. Anyways, let's continue.
Also, by scrolling the screen with your finger, you can see the details of each area on the TV screen. Additionally, if you scroll the map while selecting one of the player characters like this, you can move them to a specific location automatically.
Okay, this is a godly feature. A godly feature we have right here. Because a while back in the footage, I wanted to let it play so you get here. You could see like in the corner, like a play and pause button. You can actually look at the map from a top-down view without having to have the view of a captain, and look at the entire map to see what all your Pikmin are doing, and play and pause. And this adds so much strategy, especially making captains move to different places while you like manually move a captain, or like you automatically move like Brittany to that orange, what he's doing, and then you like manually move Alf somewhere, or you like automatically make Charlie do something and Brittany do something and Alf just do something. It sounds like a really, really cool idea. I don't know how responsive it would be with the automatic stuff, but will add so much strategy. And depending how big the game is, which I guess it'll be a lot of areas, this will be a really great way to cover areas, and I'm super excited for this feature. So let's continue.
With the cup pad, you can view the overall map and grasp what each characters and Pikmin are doing on their assigned tasks. At the end of the day, you can see the replay of the entire day. Fast-forwarding and rewinding replay footage to review a day and the number of remaining Pikmin is a part of your strategy to get ready for the next day. I'd like to share some information on the game's control as well. We are preparing a few types of game controls that players can choose from. Play control using the gamepad is similar to playing the previous Pikmin games on the GameCube.
Okay, now I want to stop here for a bit. I know Iwata's in the middle of explaining controls and everything. I'll comment on that later. But right here, you saw, I'm pretty sure you saw the posse pellet actually changing colors between red and gray, which is actually really nice because it shows, I think, like it's only doing that because you only have the rock and red unlocked. And if you have maybe the blue unlocked, it may also flash blue, which is actually really cool because in the old games, it just always flashed from red to yellow to blue no matter how many Pikmin you had unlocked. It kind of prevents spoilers, and also it just makes more sense in general. Also, the onion again is a bit like a lot gray and a bit red. So again, I do think that there is only going to be one onion because one onion is showed, and blah blah blah. Don't need to repeat myself.
The game is also compatible with the Wii U Pro Controller. If you have played Pikmin 2 for Wii, you'll know that the Wii Remote and Nunchuk control scheme makes it easy and intuitive to decide where you want to use Pikmin. With Wii Remote Plus, these controls have become more comfortable. We are mainly focusing on this control scheme today.
Okay, now this is a really cool feature. You can play with almost any control. You can play off TV, Pro Controller, with the gamepad on TV, and it actually have GameCube type controls. Same with the Pro Controller. So you can pretty much play and with the Wii Motion Plus, so you can pretty much play any way you want. Like the Wii version, GameCube exactly with the Pro Controller. You can play with the gamepad, and also, it was confirmed, Iwata didn't mention this here, that you can play like with the Wii Motion Plus, which is actually my preferred control, and also the gamepad as a map, so you can play just infinite amount of ways. It's so flexible. I can't wait for this game. It's going to be great.
Also, you can enjoy the full game without a TV by just using the gamepad. You can also play the game with Wii Remote and Nunchuk using the gamepad as a monitor. With the help of Pikmin and the cup pad, can Alf, Brittany, and Charlie save their home planet Koppai? Today, I shared updates on the game's story mode. But another time, we will be able to share more on challenge mode and the game's multiplayer modes. Pikmin 3 launches on August 4th.
Okay, so anyways, that was my analysis. I hope you liked it. I'm really excited for Pikmin 3. The new gamepad functionalities really excite me, and the fact that there will be one onion, I think that is actually pretty cool. So please share your thoughts in the comments below. I've been Bowblax, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!